Hey, are you really there? Let me guess. You're sitting there with your phone in your hand, just finished the message, and as you hit play to watch this video, new notifications are already flashing up again. I'm part of your 34-point to-do list and you're already thinking ahead of what to do next. Close? And me? Well, I'm also fighting for your attention. Why? Because I believe if you're willing to go a few rounds with me, we can discover something incredibly powerful. We'll discover that you, your business, and the people around you will thrive if you stop focusing on money, personal gain, success, if you stop focusing on you. We'll discover that the essentials in life and business are interconnected and revolve around the quality of your relationships. So, what's the status of your relationships? Are they meaningful? As meaningful as they could be? That's hard in practice, isn't it? Well, if you think there's room for improvement, I suggest you find the focus to go another round with me. This is Surpassing Success, a video series for you to discover a fulfilling life and business. We exist to help you as a business professional, leader, or entrepreneur to make your life and business more purposeful, joyful, and rewarding. This episode is about the importance of meaningful relationships. So let's be honest for a moment. How many times have you used people for your own advantage? You may say, well, I try to be nice. Well, good for you. But on a deeper level, how often have you looked at people as a means to an end? As a way to make you happy? To do your work? To make you money? To further your career? So I met the CEO once, and he told me he had just fired 120 of his employees. He did that with an email, and he was actually proud about how he handled that. When I asked him why, he told me that in his mind, in order to make the right decision for the company, he should absolutely keep all emotion out of the equation, and as a consequence, refrain from any sort of close relationships with his people. Wow, it must be lonely at the top. But funny, right? How in real life, a mountaintop is rarely considered a good place to live. The higher you find yourself, the lower the oxygen levels drop. Above 8,000 meters, those levels have dropped to circumstances mountaineers call the dead zone. A place where, without an oxygen mask, one feels exhausted, disconnected. With every extra hour spent there, your blood will start to get more viscous, increasing the risk for severe frostbite. Your mind more and more clouded, more likely to make stupid decisions. Anyway, too much time in the dead zone will inevitably lead to your own demise. See the analogy? You need other people. We are in fact emotional and relational creatures. Whatever you tell yourself, you need relationships that are meaningful, that feel safe, yet challenge you, invigorate you. Meaningful relationships are like oxygen for the soul. Still, the thought that one should refrain from any real and authentic emotions and relationships has slipped deep into the way we think about relationships in business. Hence our email executioner CEO. But does that sound like a life lived well? Like the sort of career, the sort of life for that matter, that you will ever look back on feeling satisfied or fulfilled? Well, I don't believe so. And I have some pretty strong science to back me up.
What if we could study people from the time that they were teenagers all the way into old age to see what really keeps people happy and healthy? We did that. For 75 years, we've tracked the lives of 724 men. We interview them in their living rooms. We get their medical records from their doctors. We draw their blood. We scan their brains. We talk to their children. We videotape them talking with their wives about their deepest concerns.
Their conclusion? Close relationships, more than money and fame, are what keep people happy throughout their lives. Those ties protect people from life's discontents, help to delay mental and physical decline, and are better predictors of long and happy lives than social class, IQ, or even genes. So it simply pays off, also on a deeper level. Relationships give meaning, self-validation, shape identity, enrich feelings and emotions. They shape you and make you. Oh, and that's not any different in business. If you really tab into building close and meaningful relationships within your organization, your client network, and with your suppliers, there's a high probability that you'll build something incredibly strong. Welcome, Joop. Your company, InMensGrow, promises to help CEOs realize their ambitions by utilizing the change power already present within their people. Yes, I stole that from your website. Sounds like a different approach than that CEO who fired 120 of his people via an email.
It is, yeah. I would say he is selling himself short. If you have to work such a way, you're not connected to your people, but you're also not connected to yourself.
In your vision, what role do meaningful relationships play in business?
It plays a very important role. Without good relationships in a company or team, everything falls apart. And you can see that everywhere. It's never the team with the best players who wins the tournament. It's always the most cohesive team that wins.
What's the moment in your life that most influenced your view on relationships?
I became responsible for a business unit within Unilever selling ice cream. 10 years before I started, Magnum came to the market, a big innovation and clever marketing campaigns, and it doubled the business, including doubling of the staff. But after a while, the Magnum effect was worn off. The business fell back to its original volumes, and that meant that also half of the staff we had to let go. And that was my task when I started running that business unit.
Something tells me you didn't fire those people via email, did you?
No, I didn't. So I had quite a few sleepless nights, and in those dark moments, it brought me back to the question: where do I stand for? How do I want to do this? So I set myself 2 additional goals, and the first one was that I wanted to shake hands with everybody I had to say goodbye to, including their spouse.
Wow.
It really took some time to engage with my team and to open up the relationships, to be honest about our feelings. And what I learned is that people are not against the decision. It's the rejection that really hurts. And when I understood that, we could finish the professional relationship in a very elegant way. So at the end of this reorganization, I got a handshake of all my colleagues, including their spouses. And that felt good. That's
great. And what was your second goal?
The second goal was to bring back the music and the lights on the department. So after this difficult period, we renewed our purpose. We took a while to build a team again. And we coached and professionally developed all the team members. And that brought the light and the music back on this department. It's amazing what will happen if you start building relationships on those 3 aspects. So goal, team, and your personal role within the team.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks, Joop. More from Joop later. But let's agree for now that close and meaningful relationships can greatly influence the quality of both our personal lives and our careers for the better. The only question that remains is, how do we build them? What's the key to building valuable relationships in business and in life? The brilliant social scientist Brené Brown struggled with the same questions, and she put in years and years of work researching the personal stories of hundreds of people for their ability to form these meaningful connections. And then she stumbled upon a few very interesting commonalities in the group of people most successful in building this type of relationship. A group of people she refers to as the wholehearted.
And so these folks had, very simply, the courage to be imperfect. They had the compassion to be kind to themselves first and then to others, because as it turns out, we can't practice compassion with other people if we can't treat ourselves kindly. And the last was they had connection, and this was the hard part, as a result of authenticity. They were willing to let go of who they thought they should be in order to be who they were, which is, you have to absolutely do that for connection. The other thing that they had in common was this: they fully embraced vulnerability. They believed that what made them vulnerable made them beautiful. They thought this was fundamental.
So, being, or becoming that wholehearted person, as Brené calls it, is undeniably connected to being vulnerable. I remember my first sparring session like it was yesterday. Nope, not particularly proud of it. Every time someone just put a little pressure on me, I would duck. I would simply turn my back on my opponent, hide my head in my gloves, and crouch to my knees. It's the worst thing one can do in boxing. Just guessing here. But you would never let that happen, would you? Still, that's exactly what we tend to do in relationships. Why? Well, because we want to avoid pain. We're afraid for the feeling of a punch landing on our soul. But then we respond in ways that work totally counterproductive. If we completely step out of the game, flee the relationship, there's no soil for any sort of meaningful connection or relationship to grow. Next session, I'm making progress. I'm no longer turning my back. Nope, this time, I'm mowing my arms around like a madman. Now, allow me to clear up some misconceptions you may have about boxing. You may think of it as a violent sport, like Muhammad Ali looming for that knockout punch. And I get where that's coming from. But most of what a boxer does is simply sparring. Think of sparring as a dance, like improv. It's often playful, respectful, at about 60 to 70% of your real punching power, helping you to gain stamina, practicing moves, holding your composure when the shots land. So yeah, turns out I didn't read the room well. Over the last few years, I'm moving closer to the conviction that it's exactly like that in relationships. No pain, no gain. You need to accept that you may get hurt from time to time, but if you want to give relationships a chance to grow healthy, valuable, and meaningful, you need to truly and truthfully engage. It's what the German-American philosopher Paul Tillich called the courage to be, a life philosophy which involves embracing one's vulnerability and taking risks to live a life of meaning and purpose. The guy must have been a boxer, I swear. But how are you holding on? Is all of this sounding just terribly naive, or are you still with me? I would understand. After all, if you let your guard down with the wrong person, he might just end you. Let's cut back to my conversation with Joop. He had a few interesting takes on the matter. Joop, what's your view on the ideas of Brené Brown? What role does vulnerability play in building valuable connections and relationships?
I'm a big fan of Brené Brown. People who only share the perfect image of themselves, they create a wall. And that wall obstructs relationships. And vulnerability will break down that wall. That's the beauty of vulnerability. Therefore, vulnerability is essential, but it's not magic.
It's not a cure-all.
It's not a cure-all.
Okay, let's break it down. What's at the foundation of every good, healthy relationship?
I would say trust, healthy boundaries, and authenticity. Trust is the starting point of every good relationship. If two people start a relationship, if there's trust, they will open up. And trust in relationship to yourself, but also trust in the other person. So trust will help to open up.
You mentioned healthy boundaries. Could you give us an idea of what healthy boundaries look like?
Yeah, wholehearted people are not only vulnerable. Vulnerability shouldn't lead to emotional manipulation. For example, here's my problem. It would be nice when you solve it. So a wholehearted person takes full responsibility for his or her emotions. And that's the mature level you want to cooperate together. When you work as professionals together, you don't want to end up in a relationship like this. You want to be equal as mature adults, as professionals, and bring into that relationship what's relevant to come to a next level together.
And then you mentioned authenticity?
Yeah, we define authenticity as when who you are and what you do are aligned and genuine. Authenticity brings in things like, hey, this is who I am, who are you? These are my values, what are your values? This is what I want, what do you really want? And these are my talents, but I'm not complete. What are your talents? And how can we work together based on your talents and my talents? So the beauty with talents is that they are limited. So you need always somebody else. And that can bring both persons to the next level. So there's always with talents something to give and something to gain.
So let's say you've established a few meaningful relationships over the years. You've shown vulnerability at times, you've given trust, and you've received it. Well, good. It says something about you. It tells me that you have the ability to go through that pain. You have the stamina to grow a soul that's resilient, that's able to connect to others on a deeper level. You will benefit from that on all levels of life. Chances are high that it will also gain you success. But pay attention now. Success has the awkward ability to make it all about you, to put you in the center. And that's the type of success that eats meaningful relationships for breakfast. So what do? Well, you need to launch a counterattack. You need to make a conscious decision to not let it be about you, to step out of that center and to make it all about the other. And I have a promise for you if you do. If you start to think from a relational perspective, see things in a larger context, good things will happen. You see, the beauty of it is that the most successful CEOs are the ones that are experts in making other people thrive. They don't seek personal glory or recognition, but instead put the spotlight on the achievements of their team or individual team members. They celebrate those successes. They focus on the greater good of the organization. It's that humble mindset that allows them to really listen to others, value different perspectives, and create an environment where everyone feels valued and empowered. Well, you made it till the end. Thanks for sparring with me. Guess you never looked at boxing like this before, did you? But let's look back. What did we discover? We are relational creatures, so life should not be about money, success, status, or ego. It's all about relationships. And if you want more healthy and fulfilling relationships in your life, you need to become more like one of those wholehearted individuals. That is what will really add meaning to your business and your life. But it is a choice. You need to step into the ring. You need to engage, connect, become vulnerable, and be present. Be there in the moment. That's a risk. You will get hit. There's no avoiding it. But if you're willing to accept that, embrace it, the rewards will be huge. It will give you more than success, status, money ever can. It will give you and the people around you the chance to flourish and to thrive. If you enjoyed this video and feel ready to dive deeper, we have a free ebook waiting for you. If you want to make a people-oriented business grow, download our practical toolkit. Both are available on the landing page, and I think you might really like them. Furthermore, if you're excited about exploring more episodes from Surpassing Success, we warmly invite you to visit our landing page or check out our YouTube channel. We'd love to see you there.